guys missed our last video.
Oh! What the heck?
We started working on our front entrance door right here. That's gonna be a pivot door for this opening right here. So we pretty much were able to fabricate the door. There it is right there. And today we are going to be doing something exciting, which is installing the pivot point on the top and the bottom and potentially getting the door kind of situated in the opening. We have a lot of measuring to do, a lot of calculations to make sure everything is centered and set well, placed well, all that good stuff. So join us as we venture on another day, diving into the unknown on Pacific Pines Ranch. Let's roll. We decided to put our floating staircase project on hold so that we could close the very last opening of our container house. We need a little bit of dry weather to complete the next step for the staircase, so in the meantime, we decided to make some progress on fabricating this grand entrance door. So we just did the first measurements and marking on the ground, pretty much where the door is going to go. Yesterday we did a lot of calculations and measuring and drawing, as I'll show you guys. So here we have all of our plans, all of the sizes of the doors, the opening and everything, and how we are going to design the pivot points and how we're going to attach them and all of that. So now we are just going to replicate all of these marks and measurements right there using a special tool. Check it out. So today we are going to be using this super cool measuring tape. This is the MILESEEY XTAPE1. This product integrates a high precision laser level and a laser measuring tool with a digital tape measure, all in one sleek design, allowing users to effortlessly measure any short or long distances with less switching between tools. I've talked about this before on our channel. It's really incredible. This thing can do so much in one little unit. So with that being said, let's get it turned on and start measuring. Right now we are using the digital tape measure with the laser level to align the measurements we need for the door. This tool does a lot more than just measure, and we'll be using it to do a few unique calculations later in the video. The laser level really comes in handy when you need to make sure you're aligning the measurement well, and it's probably the feature we use most often with this measuring tape.
So last week, the first design that we thought about was to install all the hardware in the door, like on the side against the tube in the door. So this at the bottom, because this hinge can clearly have a lot of weight on it. I think it's rated for 900 pounds. And on top, a flange bearing, so we can adjust where the door will be to have a kind of good...
Up there, in between the door and the I-beam.
To have a good closing, so we can actually a little bit adjust it if that kind of sag on one side, because this bearing, these hinges have some play. So we were thinking we can adjust it with that. And Tony, Mr. T, built this custom shaft for us, so this is amazing. Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Mr. T.
So he built us the shaft to go in the bearing. And why we changed the design? It's actually these hinges to be inside the door will be too close to the edge of the concrete.
It'll be too close to right here. So when we go to drill to bolt the bottom part of the hinge, we don't think it will be work very well.
The concrete will probably crack.
Yeah.
And also the one on top, the two hole that we'll have to drill will probably end up to be on the, I forget how it's called, the part in the I-beam.
The vertical part of the I-beam right there.
So we change the design and we'll install the hardware on the tube this side. So we'll be a little bit more inside the house. It will be easier to drill the concrete without cracking. And we'll install the shaft on the tube and still the bearing on the I-beam, but not inside the opening, but on top of the I-beam, because we didn't have enough space. We didn't know the bearing will be that thick, so they will have to be inside of the I-beam. We'll show you. Instead of being here, we don't have the room. It will be installed here.
And this shaft, we are going to make a custom mounting plate, an adjustable mounting plate on the top of the door right there, right where this tubing is. So that way we can adjust the door if needed. And Mr. T is also gonna help us with that.
And one more thing, we go back to the hinges and the bearing. What's tricky, but we did all the calculation, will be to have like the center of this shaft. I mean, we have to, if not that won't work well, match the center of this shaft.
So they're aligned.
Exactly.
Basically, we have to kind of play with the distance that it will be from the door in order to align both of them. So therefore, we need to have a mounting plate for this one and that one, two different sizes, because they are not exactly the same, as you can see.
So we'll have a thicker plate for this one and a thinner plate for this one.
Yeah.
And now the hardware will be removable.
Removable.
I'm sorry, my English is so bad. And we just drill and tap this tube, bolt it. Actually, this part we bolted. This one will be cut and welded to the plate, so we can actually attach the plate to the concrete. And this one will be just a plate with some screw and like bigger opening, so we can actually adjust it left or right and to have like a nice closing door.
So that's the idea. Stay tuned as we kind of run through all of this and see how it turns out. Okay, this door is about, what did we say, around 400 something pounds?
Maybe like 300 and 500 somewhere around.
Yeah, so we're gonna do our best to move it by ourselves.
Nobody's breaking into our house. All right.
We're going to cut off the bottom portion of this gate hinge and weld it to a mounting plate. So right now we are using the XTape1 with the laser function to mark where to cut. So what we're about to do right now is use the chop saw to cut this bottom part off, and then we are going to mount this bottom part onto a plate that we're going to custom make and attach the two together. But first we gotta cut this bad boy. All right, you guys, it's pretty chilly today, so another day for our heated clothing. Today I'm rocking the heated jacket from iHood. I'll link this in the description because this heated clothing is a game changer for the cold, chilly weather. This is actually a men's jacket. It's Viance, but I'm borrowing it today. So you see, you got all of these zippers, pockets, The battery is right here. So it's a little battery pack. You can also charge your phone or cameras or other things with it. So that's super cool. Got a little inside pocket right here. And it's also waterproof, which I think is amazing. So I'll link this bad boy in the description for you guys. Great jacket for those chilly winter days. What's up?
I have to flip it doesn't cut anymore.
You sure?
Yeah. Nope, I will go on the same spot. Let's see. Oh fuck, this is burning hot.
Yeah. You want me to help you to unclip it?
Ah, it's okay, I think I got it.
Okay, so I think we're gonna have to finish this with the angle grinder because this chop saw is great, but it's not as precise as we would like it to be. I don't know if you can see, but it's not very straight. I mean, it's kind of straight, but
Not straight enough.
yeah.
Like on this side you see it like we start straight here, but the blade can like curve down.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to finish it with the angle grinder. So these are two leftover pieces from other projects that we did. Made a really cool fire pit with the extra pieces of that one. Check out that video if you're interested. So since we're gonna be cutting the gate hinge down there with the angle grinder, we're gonna grab these two pieces of steel also because this is what we're gonna make the two mounting plates for the bottom and the top.
So we'll measure like what size we have to do the plate. The bottom will be the thinner one, and for the top, same we measure, and that will be the thicker one for the top. Cool, babe. All right.
So here we have all of the items that Viant just cut. So we have the two plates. Here's one plate, here's the other one, and this is the bottom part of the pivot. We did our best to be as straight as possible. We might have to smooth that out a little bit. Ooh, it's hot. Oop. But so far, everything's going well. We're just gonna keep rolling. Now what we have to work on is what we are going to mount the bottom part of the pivot hardware to. So basically, we're gonna go into our scrap steel and pick out a super thick plate, thickest plate we can find, so that we can weld this guy onto the plate and bolt it into the concrete slab up there. So let's dig through our scrap and see what we come up with. So this is the plate that we are going to use to attach this guy right here. So Viant is going to cut this scrap plate that we have and notch out a little section so we can insert this and weld everything.
Yeah. Now we cut this out. So now we are going to cut out a little piece here in the corner so we can incorporate this part of the hinges inside the plate that will be bolted on the floor.
And then I'm gonna weld this to this when all is finished.
So like that, my love?
That looks great.
I don't know if I'm straight enough, but whatever. Okay, cool. We'll try to drill and tap about like 3/4 on each side. So we are not too close to the edge and we have the room for the hinges and the bearing, or the shaft.
So now let's go mark these guys. All right, so we got all of our plates marked at where we need to drill, make holes, and make some slots to make these adjustable. So now we are going to head over to Mr. T's, and he is going to help us do all of these things. He has some incredible tools and just infinite building knowledge. So we always like to work with him, bounce ideas off of him. So let's head over there and continue on our pivot door project. Welcome to Mr. T's workshop. The man that knows too many things. We are mega grateful and thankful for Mr. T and all of the vast knowledge that he bestows upon us. This is the shaft that's gonna go like...
That was already pressed in there when you bought
Yeah.
it. You just cut it off.
Oh, I see
Yeah.
his machine out. I'm not sure, man.
It's not coming out, let's put it that way.
yeah, we hope not.
Yeah, it's perfect. So 90% is flat.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close. Face. Drill because there's so many flat surfaces hitting that it won't let it penetrate. So if you're going to puncture through a plate, you have to use a 2-flute. And we're wondering-
Interesting.
Or you got to drill a hole first. It's small. It's 1/4 by 3/8. That won't work. But see, now that one's only got 2 places, and it'll let you drill through.
And can you go like lateral after?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can do that with either one.
Okay.
Just more cutting edges, the smooth, you know, the easier, not as much pressure.
I feel like I'm in like a science class in a way or something. Metal sciences.
Didn't want to just pull it down by hand. This, run it in slowly. Till you get through.
So we got the piece all finished for the pivot point on the door, the lower part, and now we are working on a slotted mounting plate for the top part of the pivot hardware. Let's test it.
Let me have those. They're real close. Haven't got into wood yet.
All good.
So I say, you usually wobble around.
Yeah.
And
Perfect.
The bolts are usually a few.
So here is the final product. This is where the shaft is going to be installed for the top part of the door. That way we can adjust it a little bit. But look at that. So we got the first one done, we got this all flattened out, and now we are working on this piece right here that we just need to drill 6 holes all around. here's the second plate. Okay, so now we are going to work on drilling this big one that we're going to bolt into the concrete slab with the tap cons. So we're almost finished. Mr. T is just helping us kind of clean up everything, deburr everything, and sand everything down so it's all smooth and ready to go. Special thank you to Mr. T for all of the help for our pivot door and all the other things that he's helped us with over the years.
More than welcome.
We'd be so lost without him. So we're back to our place. All of the plates are ready to be installed and we're ready to move on with installing the door. But first up, I'm gonna take you guys along, explain to you a little bit about the benefits of using this measuring tape. So as you guys saw, this measuring tape does come with a laser in the back. And this comes in handy for when you want to make sure your measurements are straight. So for example, if you wanted to measure this and you want to make sure the measuring tape is straight, you just line up the laser with whatever you're measuring. So that's super helpful. We've used that a few times in the past when we were designing our floating stairs. That was really helpful. If you go through the menu, you have a bunch of features that you can use. You can calculate the area of a specific thing. So for example, if we wanted to find the area of the door, you just take the two measurements and it'll calculate it for you. So here, as you can see, it calculated the surface area of the door, which is just over 43.7 square feet. There are some really unique functions that the XTape1 does. The XTape1 features multiple measuring modes to meet all of your measurement needs. As I showed you earlier, with this tool, you can measure and calculate length, angle, area, volume, etc. And with the advanced point-to-point measurement option, you can easily measure between 2 points from any location. This is incredibly helpful when the areas you want to measure are out of reach. The thicker and wider tape blade and resistance to corrosion offers a much longer durability even in harsh environments. The modular design with the removable and replaceable tape measure makes it easy to replace if needed. The measuring tape also has a really strong magnet at the beginning of the measuring tape, which can be really helpful for taking measurements of metal items, like everything in our house. XTape1 is designed for ultimate readability and user comfort with fully customizable display options. Featuring an ambidextrous rotating screen, large font, seamless unit switching, and a vibrant multicolor display, it delivers clear, easy-to-read measurements in any environment, ensuring optimal visibility even in low-light conditions. The XTape1 is also compatible with the Smart Life app, which allows you to save your measurements in the app to reference later. This definitely comes in handy when you have to take tons of measurements and saves time. The XTape1 delivers exceptional accuracy, achieving up to 1/16 for laser measurements with a maximum range of 330 feet. For shorter distances, the digital tape measure offers precise measurements with a 1/32 accuracy. I included a link to a video in the description that does a deep dive into the functions and capabilities of this measuring tape if you guys would like to know a little bit more about it and what it can do. Overall, this measuring tape is really great because it incorporates a lot of different features in one unit. So it's a laser, a level, a measuring tape, a calculator, all in one. So it's really handy to have if you're doing a lot of calculations and measurements and you want one unit to do it all. This is what you need. I'll be sure to include the link in the description for this unit, MILESEEY XTape1, if you guys are interested, or you can also scan the QR code to pick up one for yourself. So next up, this is what we're gonna do for the door. So we are going to lay it down so we can drill and tap the areas where the bottom pivot hardware and top pivot hardware are going to be, and then go from there. But first, we gotta get the door down and get everything situated so we can move forward. We went from easily drilling stuff in Mr. T's shop back to the analog way, the manual way. All right, so to drill and tap these holes, we are using one of these drill bits that drills and taps at the same time, which is really convenient. So here's the drill bit. I'll link this in the description of the video because honestly, these drill tap bits are really incredible for when you need to do stuff like this. We use them all the time, all over the house we've used them, and they're really a great product to have.
And just make it faster, like way more faster than drill and tap actually. So.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's get it.
Okay, one.
Boom! So this is going to be the top plate, and we purposely made these slots a little wider so that way we can adjust the plate, because that's how we're gonna adjust the fit of the door. You'll eventually understand what's happening once we get the door in the opening and kind of see the system that we designed. Stay tuned. We didn't break any for once.
10 holes. So I think it's Milwaukee.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah. You can buy it on the with the link below because this is great stuff.
Yeah. So we got both plates mounted and installed. There's one, and the other one is up there. Next up, we are going to start to get everything in the opening of the door and move along with trying to figure out how we're gonna install this huge, heavy door and make sure everything aligns well and works.
Yeah, it's the more important.
Yeah. So, let's see how it goes. So Viant just grabbed the welder. Thank you so much. We are going to weld this part of the gate hinge to this plate for the bottom. And for the top, we are going to weld this cylinder, the shaft, to the top of this plate, something like similar to that. Fingers crossed, everything goes well, and we are as precise as we are hoping to be. It's really hard to be precise. So Viant's cleaning the bottom plates that we are going to bolt into the concrete slab. And as soon as he's done, we're gonna put everything together on the door and get the door in the opening and try to figure out the top hinge point. So far, things are going pretty well. It's a little bit tricky to kind of figure out everything and make sure everything is kind of lining up and straight and all the spacing is right. So that's a little tricky, but so far, so good. Don't want to jinx it though. Okay, first fitting with the plate.
Beautiful.
Nice. So fun. Okay, let's get that bad boy bolted down. So right now we are using our laser levels to make sure that the door is level and everything is in the correct position before Viant bolts down this little plate that is part of the bottom pivot point. So far everything is looking level. Let me show you. So right here we have our laser level from Dovo. Here we have another one, but right now we're using this one. And it's looking pretty good. Everything seems to be level, so we are going to continue moving forward. So we got the door straight both this way, and now pretty much we are just doing the center of this pin, the hinge point up there, so that we can mark it, because that's where the top hinge bearing is going to go. It's acceptable?
Yep.
So we just finished marking the top part of this pivot hinge. It was pretty tricky. Let me show you what we had to do. So here is the part where, okay, so the mounting plate gets mounted here, and then the shaft goes up through this I-beam and goes onto this. So the challenging part was to replicate this up here. So we just drew it on a piece of paper and used the lasers to align it. And when it's done, the shaft will go up through that, through this, and be bolted on each side. So I'm gonna plasma cut this hole, and then we're gonna align everything and make adjustments from there. Okay, just plasma cut the spot for the flange bearing, and here it is. So here's the mounting plate, it's all bolted. And as you can see, here's the hole that I just cut and the shaft going through the door. After, the flange bearing is gonna go on top. Right now we have to mark where the two sides where I have the plasma cut for the 2 bolts to bolt down the flange bearing. But pretty happy with this cut. It's pretty nice freehand circle. So I am going to cut the 2 last holes and then we can bolt the flange bearing, which is pretty exciting. So let's get her done. Here we go, guys. Here is the mounting plate, the flange bearing, the shaft, everything is bolted to the I-beam. Down there we have the gate hinge that we are going to bolt to the concrete in a minute. Looking good.
All right.
What do you think?
That's amazing. Look like so heavy duty, you know? I feel like it's a vault of a bank. You know?
Yeah. All right, so here's the bottom. Got it bolted to the door. And then you go up. You got the flange bearing, the shaft, the other mounting, adjustable mounting plate.
Oh wait, guys, it's so easy to move it. Like I barely, look at this.
Yeah.
I barely touch it.
Give her a good swing.
Man, this is incredible.
Oh.
Look at this.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is so freaking cool.
This is the entrance for the skinny people. I'm skinny. I fit, yeah.
So now we are going to make sure that the door didn't sag at all after we removed all of the shims and stuff that we had on the bottom. So that's what we just brought out the laser for. We're gonna verify. So it's looking so good.
Yeah, it's dead on, dead on. Oh man. This is too good to be true. Huh?
Wow, 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 wow. Welcome to Pacific Pines Ranch, where we take old
Beat up.
beat up stuff and make stuff like this.
Beat up stuff, but that function.
Yeah. Are you guys ready to see the door in daylight? Well, stay tuned because first we have to clean up the big mess that we made while building the pivot door. All right, so we just finished cleaning our big mess from working on the door. So check out the daytime reveal of our pivot door.
Ta-da!
This came out so incredibly well. We are so happy with the results. The door opens and closes.
Look at this.
Smoother than any door.
I guess to a little bearing that change everything.
Yeah.
This stuff is 400 pounds and it's moving by itself.
Yeah.
This is insane.
So let me give you guys a little look. Try not to fall off our little scaffold. So here's the outside. Go ahead and close it. Okay. Hold on, let me go down. Okay, go ahead.
Welcome to Pacific Pine Ranch. Don't even need to push it, look at this.
Yeah.
So crazy. Look, you do like a 360 almost with one light push.
The door turned out amazing and we are super happy with everything so far. This is the first time we built a door from scratch and it was definitely challenging. It took a lot of time to design everything and make sure all of the measurements and layouts were right. I still can't believe we were able to make this design work and I'm really proud of ourselves for that. The next step will be to design and install the door frame so that there are no gaps around the door and the door is wind and water tight, which I'm sure will be challenging, but we have some ideas for that. We also have to work on the aesthetic aspect of the door, like refurbishing it, painting it, and adding a few other things to the door to upgrade its appearance. So stay tuned for all of that. So here's the anchor plate, the gate hinge bearing thing that we bought, the mounting plate, and obviously the door. And then up there, we have the mounting plate, the shaft, the flange bearing on top, and then bolted to the I-beam. So that was really tricky to figure out the mounting of the door and how to make everything function well. So we are really happy with the results of the door. The door is so big, it's really hard to film me in front of it because it's such a huge door. But everything came out incredible. We're really happy with how it opens, really happy with how it functions. Like I said, that was really tricky to get everything to align well, to get the door situated well, but all the time that we took to
be precise,
yeah, it worked out. So with that being said, now we need to refurbish the door and do the frame for the door. Obviously you see there's a huge gap where the door is. Also, I have to, you guys notice our little handle right now through the hole. But yeah, obviously you see there's a huge gap around the edges of the frame. So we are going to design the weather stripping and all that other stuff for the door to make sure that it's water and airtight. So that's another thing we have to do. So the structure is done, but we have quite a bit more steps to do for the door to be like completed. So stay tuned to see more about our pivot door. So right now we are going to use the MILESEEY XTAPE1 to figure out what size angle iron we need for the closure of the door. So to make the door frame, basically.
So we can use this little magnet. This is really handy because we can just like put it on this. And let's see, imagine, you know what, 2¼ shouldn't be too bad actually.
So as you can see, like I've mentioned before, what's really cool about this measuring tape is the laser that helps you kind of align everything. And
also it tells you like the degrees if you move left or right to make sure your line is straight.
yes,
You have the option for the degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's just to have a rough estimate right now, so.
yeah. So I think we'll probably use 2.5-inch angle iron for the door frame.
Something is crazy. Sometimes you're like, oh, you can reinvent the wheel, you know? And I feel like a measuring tape is about the same thing. It's like so basic and simple. And those guys, they came with this crazy computer measuring tape, like with laser, angle, volume, surface, like everything. You're
So
like,
true.
what?
So true. I've gotten a lot of questions about our floating staircase and our entrance structure in general. And one thing that I'd like to share with you guys is the volume of our entrance. So we are going to use the XTape1 with the laser measurer to calculate the volume. So as you can see, by using the XTape1, we were easily able to calculate the volume of the entrance structure. And it's 4,626 cubic feet. So simple and easy. So what's really cool about this MILESEEY XTape1 measuring tape is it's a combination of a few different tools all in one unit. So it's really helpful if you want to just have one thing to carry around rather than a few different things. It's a level, it's a laser level. You can measure the distance. You can calculate a bunch of calculations like volume, surface area, etc. And what I really like about it is the little laser makes it really easy to take measurements that you can't reach. Like for example, the ceiling in here is 20-ish feet high, and it's a little complicated to go all the way up there on a ladder to take measurements. So this comes in handy for times like that. So we have a start to our next part of the door. Stay tuned to see how it develops and what that will look like with time. We still don't know what we're gonna do for the final look of the door, but you guys will see once we figure it out.
Or if you have a good idea, drop it in the comment.
Yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, comment below. Thank you guys so much for watching another one of our videos on Pacific Pines Ranch. Huge thank you to MILESEEY for sponsoring this video and Mr. T for helping us with all of the plates and everything. And third special thank you is to you guys. We couldn't do all of this without you, and I am super thankful for all of you who support our channel, watch our videos, comment, like, etc. And we'll see you guys in the next video.